Genetic modification, GM technology. GM technology is direct manipulation of the DNA of many organisms, including plants, bacteria, and animals, to alter the desired characteristics. Major approaches to genome editing: clustered, regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats, CRISPR, associated protein 9 Cas9, Cas9, homing endonuclease or meganucleases, site directed nuclease SDN, laws, acts and procedures governing genome editing in India: Biological Diversity Act 2006, Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1947, Seed Act 1968, Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights PPVFR 2009, Food Safety and Standards Act 2006, Disaster Management Act 2005. Genome editing, genetically modified GM crops. Recently, the Department of Biotechnology (DBT) issued Guidelines for Safety Assessment of Genome Edited Plants 2022, easing norms for research into genetically modified crops. More on news. Guidelines exempts genome edited plants falling under the categories of site directed nuclease SDN1 and SDN2 from manufacture, use, import, export and storage of hazardous microorganisms or genetically engineered organism or cells rules 1989 under the Environment Protection Act 1986. Department of Biotechnology, an attached office of Ministry of Science and Technology, and is a nodal agency supporting research in life sciences and promotes large scale use of biotechnology. Mandate: support R&D, research and development and manufacturing in biology, promote university and industry interaction, evolve basic safety guidelines, manufacture and application of cell-based vaccines. Other key information: announced first National Biotechnology Development Strategy in Biotechnology Development Strategy in 2007, National Biotechnology Development Strategy 2015 to 2020, National Biotechnology Development Strategy 2021 to 2025. It is based on earlier exemption by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change to avoid a long process for approval of GM crops through GEAC. Guidelines for Safety Assessment of Genome Edited Plants aim to provide regulatory framework and scientific guidance on data requirement in context of research and development of genome edited plant. Scope of guidelines: limited to plants and products thereof developed using genome editing techniques employing site directed nucleases SDN. Guidelines notified by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change under the Environment Protection Act 1986. Exemption: researchers who use genome editing technology to modify plant genome from seeking approvals from Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. All requirements to develop transgenic seeds will apply to gene edited seeds except clauses requiring GEAC permission. Significance of guidelines: accelerate genetic improvement of crops, increasing farmers' income, roadmap for sustainable use of genome editing, manufacture, use, import, export and storage of hazardous microorganisms or genetically engineered organisms or cells rules 1989, regulates all activities related to genetically engineered organisms or cells and hazardous microorganisms and products thereof. Advantages of GM crops: increase productivity and prevent crop loss, food security, enhanced nutritional quality, maintain soil fertility. Concerns related to GM crops: environmental, genetic contamination, creating superweeds, etc. Economic, false claims about yield. Biosafety of human and animal health, ethical, excessive corporate dominance, etc. About GM crops: genetic modification in plants. Cells are grown in tissue culture which develop into plants, and seeds produced by these plants will inherit the new DNA. Indian Council of Agricultural Research ICAR promotes the science-based innovative technology, including research on GM crops. Network project on functional genomics and genetic modification in crops was launched by ICAR in 2005. ICAR in 2005. Genome editing technology and transgenic technology. Both can alter the genome of an organism. However, there is a difference between the two, as genome editing is manipulation of genome organism itself by knocking out or replacing targeted gene, which resulted in individuals which intentionally selected and desired traits. In transgenic technology, genome of an organism is altered by introduction of one or more foreign DNA sequences from another species by artificial means. Various bodies on GM crop regulation monitors the development in biotechnology at national and international levels. It functions in DBT, Institutional Biosafety Committee, approves low risk experiments and ensures adherence to prescribed safety guidelines. It functions from DBT. Review Committee on Genetic Manipulation reviews all ongoing projects involving high risk and controlled field experiments. It functions from DBT. State Biotechnology Coordination Committee SBCC acts as state level nodal agency to assess the damage due to release of GMOs and to take on-site control measures. District level committee acts as nodal agency at district level to reports to SBCC or the GEAC about compliance or non-compliance of regulatory guidelines. Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change objectives, responsible for approval of large-scale use of hazardous microorganisms and recombinants in research and industrial production from environmental angle. Release of genetically engineered organisms and products into environment, including experimental field trials. Taking punitive action under the Environment Protection Act 1986. Composition. Presently it has 24 members and it meets every month, chaired by Special Secretary or Additional Secretary of MOE, and CC. Know the term. Bioeconomy is an economy where the basic building blocks for materials, chemicals and engineering energy are derived from renewable biological resources. Site Directed Nuclease SDN technology. Department of Biotechnology revised guidelines for plants and products thereof developed using genome editing techniques employing site directed nucleases. About site directed nucleases, SDN or sequence specific nuclease. SSN refers to the practice of cleaving DNA strands to affect the subsequent genome editing. SDN technology takes advantage of targeted DNA break and hosts natural repair mechanisms to introduce specific small changes at the site of the DNA break. Main SDN technologies: zinc finger nucleases and transcription activator like effector nucleases talents. Technique of SDN applications. SDN1 produce a double stranded break in the genome of a plant without addition of foreign DNA. SDN2 produces a double stranded break, and while the break is repaired by the cell, a small nucleotide template is supplied that is complementary to the area of the break, which in turn is used by the cell to repair the break. SDN3 also includes a double stranded break in the DNA, but is accompanied by a template containing a gene or other sequence of genetic material. The cell's natural repair processes then utilizes this template to repair the break, resulting in the introduction of the genetic material. Depending on the natures of the edit, the process is divided into three categories: SDN1, SDN2, SDN3. Both SDN1 and SDN2 do not involve aligned genetic material, and the result is indistinguishable from conventionally bred crop varieties. SDN3 process involves genes of foreign origin. SDN1 and 2 do not produce new plant varieties that fall under the scope of GMO legislation. In SDN3, the newly developed plant falls under GMO legislation only if foreign DNA exceeding 20 base pairs inserted. Exerted. Chimeric antigen receptor CAR-T cell therapy. Chimeric antigen receptor T CAR-T cell therapy. This is the first time that CAR-T therapy indigenously developed by IIT Bombay and Tata Memorial Center was tested on patients in India. More about the news. Research is funded under National Biopharma Mission by Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. By RSC. BIRSC is a public sector enterprise set up by Department of Biotechnology DBT as an interface agency to strengthen emerging biotech enterprise. About CAR-T therapy, it is a way to get immune cells and T cells to fight cancer by editing them in the lab. T cells are a type of white blood cell that attacks foreign pathogens. T cells are taken from patient's blood and are edited by adding a gene for a man-made receptor called CAR. CAR is a special receptor created in the laboratory that is designed to bind to certain proteins on cancer cells. CAR is then added to T cells. This helps them better identify specific cancer cell antigens. These changed T cells called CAR-T cells, CAR-T cells. CAR-T cells are then given back to the patient. Benefits of CAR-T therapy. While existing treatments work towards increasing life of patients, CAR-T technology holds promise of curing certain types of cancers. Unlike chemotherapy, CAR-T is administered only once to a patient. Short treatment time needed and more rapid recovery. Short treatment time and more rapid recovery. T and B cells. Immune cells, innate and acquired. Innate immune cells, body's first line of defense that quickly respond to fight infection. T cells and B cells, evolved from learned experiences, so take longer to develop, tend to live together than innate cells. B cells and T cells are also called lymphocytes, a type of white blood cell that is part of the immune system. B cells produce antibodies that are used to attack invading bacteria, viruses and toxins. These antibodies are Y-shaped proteins that are specific to each pathogen. T cells are direct fighters of foreign invaders and also produce cytokines, which are biological substances that help activate other parts of the immune system. T cells destroy body's own cells that have been taken over by viruses or become cancerous. T cells destroy body's own cells that have been taken over by viruses or become cancerous. Indian Biological Data Center. Recently, Indian Biological Data Center IBDC was inaugurated at Faridabad, Haryana. First national repository for life science data in India. Also, as per the Biotech Pride guidelines, Biotech Pride Pride guidelines released last year, IBDC is mandated to archive all life science data generated from publicly funded research in India. Established at Regional Center of Biotechnology, Faridabad in collaboration with National Informatics Center. Storage. Digitized data will be stored on a 4 petabyte supercomputer BRAHM, supported by Department of Biotechnology DBT. Data sharing as per FAIR, findable, accessible, interoperable and reusable principle. FAIR data principles were proposed by a consortium of scientists and organizations to support the reusability of digital assets. Also contains genome sequenced by the Indian SARS-CoV-2 Genomes Consortium INSA-CoG. Under IBDC, currently 2 sections have been developed. These include Indian Nucleotide Data Archive INDA shall archive data generated from publicly funded research projects in India and provide internationally accepted data accession numbers, digitized genetic makeup of humans, plants, animals and microbes. Indian Nucleotide Data Archive controlled access. Data access types of IBDC: open access or time release access and restricted access. Know the term. Biological data means all information related to living organisms, including their nucleic acids, protein sequence, metabolites, and other molecular and functional characteristics. Maharashtra Cabinet approved the Gene Bank project. It is a type of biorepository to preserve plants by collecting seeds, plants, tissue cultures, and animals by collecting sperm and eggs. At national level, several such facilities are established, such as National Gene Bank at National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, PUSA, PUSA. It is world's second largest refurbished gene bank. National Animal Gene Bank at National Bureau of Animal Genetic Resources, Karnal. Indian Seed Vault at Changla, Ladakh. Geospatial technology. Geospatial data. Geospatial data is information that describes objects, events, or other features with a location on or near the surface of the earth. It includes vectors and attributes, points, lines, polygons, and other descriptive information about a location. Raster and satellite imagery get a bird's eye view of what the earth looks like via high resolution imagery. Uses of geospatial technology. GPS or spatial analytics, desktop, web or cloud, mobile. GNSS and positioning, navigation, surveying, indoor positioning. Earth observation, aerial mapping, UAVs or drone, satellite remote sensing, scanning, LIDAR, laser scanning, radar. Geospatial data is information that describe objects, events, or other features with a location on or near the surface of the earth. It includes 5G spectrum auction. A record of over 1.5 lakh crore worth of 5G telecom spectrum was sold in recently held auction. About 5G spectrum. Spectrum relates to the radio frequencies allocated to the mobile industry and other sectors for communication over the airwaves. Spectrum is a sovereign asset. Operators are most likely going to use a mix of low band, mid band, and high band spectrum to deliver the type of 5G experience that their customers demand. Fifth generation 5G. Recently, Prime Minister inaugurated the country's first 5G testbed. More about news. The 5G testbed has been developed as a multi-institute collaborative project by 8 institutes led by IIT Madras. It is the country's first 5G testbed to enable startups and industry players to test and validate their products locally. 5G bandwidth is greater than 1 GB per second. And speed average 200 to 400 Mbps. 5G is an amalgamation of various technologies such as massive multi-user MIMO, small cell stations, mobile edge computing, beam forcing, massive multi-user MIMO, multiple input, multiple output enabled network, small cell stations to connect the base stations and users seamlessly, mobile edge computing that brings cloud computing closer to the user, beam forcing, a laser beam between transmitting entity and the user. 5G operates at higher frequencies and is designed to connect virtually everyone and everything together, including missions, objectives, and devices. Have an enhanced through put to handle more simultaneous connections at a time. Other steps taken by government to boost 5G. Cellular Operators Association of India has formed the 5G India Forum. National Digital Communication Policy 2018 lays out the objectives with respect to 5G services in India. 5G Vertical Engagement and Partnership Program VEPP initiative. Department of Telecommunications DOT has invited expression of interest for initiative to enable close collaboration between user verticals and 5G stakeholders. Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV. PSLV on its 55th mission, PSLV C-53 successfully launched 3 Singaporean satellites in the second commercial mission of New Space India Limited NSIL. More about news. Besides placing satellites in orbit, ISRO also achieved successful launch of PSLV Orbital Experimental Module. POEM. About POEM, a platform which allows in orbit scientific experiments using the final stage of PSLV. Dedicated navigation guidance and control system. Act as a platform's brain to stabilize it with specified accuracy. Power source. Mounted solar panels and lithium ion battery. Navigation with Indian constellation. Navic Center is pushing smartphone makers to enable support for its navigation system in devices from next year. About navigation with Indian constellation. Independent standalone navigation satellite system developed by Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO, earlier known as IRNSS, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. Coverage. It consists of 7 satellites and covers the whole of India's landmass and up to 1500 kilometers from its boundaries. Forthcoming change. To add the L1 spectrum band into NAVIC, which is part of GPS and is most used for civilian navigational use. Expansion will help to increase its use in civilian sector and ships, aircraft traveling far from the country's borders. Application. Public vehicle tracking in India providing emergency warning alerts to fishermen, tracking and providing information related to natural disasters. Tuberculosis. Recently, World Health Organization WHO released new guidance to support National Strategic Planning NSP for the tuberculosis. Recently, WHO released new guidance to support National Strategic Planning NSP for the tuberculosis. NSP for TB guides how to comprehensively address TB epidemic through goals, strategies, priority interventions within health and across other sectors. Each goal must be defined in line with SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic and time-bound criteria. Current document is an update to 2015 toolkit to develop a NSP for TB prevention, care and control. Tuberculosis. TB is caused by bacteria, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and is most often affect the lungs. Types of TB. Pulmonary TB affect lungs. Extrapulmonary TB affect both lungs and other organs. For prevention of TB, BCG, Bacilline Calamite Guerin vaccine is used among children at the time of birth. Drug resistance TB. Multi-drug resistance TB, MDR TB, does not respond to at least isoniazid and rifampicin, two of the most powerful and anti-TB drugs. Extensively drug resistance TB does not respond to at least 4 of the core anti-TB drugs. Totally drug resistance tuberculosis TB, which is resistant to all the anti-TB drugs. Steps taken to eliminate tuberculosis. India's efforts. National Strategic Plan NSP 2017 to 2025 to eliminate TB by 2025, 5 years ahead of the SDG 2030 target. National Tuberculosis Elimination Program has expanded laboratory network as well as diagnostic facilities to cover the entire country. Earlier it was known as Revised National Tuberculosis Control Program. Nikshay Portal. It is a national TB information system to manage patient information and monitor program activity throughout the country. It provides a national data repository of TB information for advanced analytics. Nikshay Poshan Yojana provides DBT to all TB patients towards nutritional support scheme by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, is financed by Government of India with partial financing provided through World Bank. TB Free India campaign launched by Prime Minister to eliminate TB by 2025. PathoDetect kit by Pune based MyLab, India's first indigenous TB detection kit, single test can detect tuberculosis and MDR TB. Global commitments and efforts taken to eliminate TB. Moscow Declaration 2017 to increase sectoral action and enhance accountability towards ending TB by 2030. WHO End TB Strategy to reduce TB incidence by 80%, TB deaths by 90%, and to eliminate catastrophic costs for TB affected households by 2030. Find, Treat All, End TB. It is a joint initiative of WHO, Stop TB Partnership and a Global Fund to diagnose, treat and report 40 million people with TB. Small modular reactors. Recently, Niti Aayog member suggested for focusing on setting up small modular reactors as it would help meet the country's energy needs and also in replacing aging thermal power plants. What is a tokamak? Tokamak is a magnetic fusion device designed to provide feasibility of fusion as a large scale and carbon free source of energy based on same principle that powers suns and stars. It uses a powerful magnetic field to fuse hot plasma and can reach temperatures of over 150 million degrees Celsius. This can be used to produce steam and other electricity by way of turbines and generators. Lithium ion battery. Recently, Union government constituted an expert panel to probe the recent series of battery explosions in electric vehicles (EVs). About lithium. Lithium is lightest solid metal. It is currently produced from hard rock or brine mines. Australia is the world's biggest supplier with production of lithium from hard rock mines, while Argentina, Chile and China are producing it from salt lakes. Lithium in India. In India, first traces of lithium ever to be discovered in the ancient igneous rocks of Karnataka's Mandya district. Recently, lithium reserves are also discovered in J&K, Jammu and Kashmir. Currently, India imports all its lithium needs, with China and Hong Kong are biggest suppliers. Advantages of lithium ion batteries. High specific charge density, amount of charge a battery can supply. High voltage, high energy density, low self discharge. Disadvantage of lithium ion batteries. Thermal runaway due to melting of the electrolyte, high operational temperature, less stability, lack of availability for lithium raw material. Lithium ion batteries. A lithium ion battery is a family of rechargeable battery types and consists four components in a lithium ion cell: anode, cathode, separator, and the aqueous electrolyte. Steps taken for lithium ion batteries in India. National Mission on Transformative Mobility to encourage domestic lithium ion cell manufacturing and EV components. ISRO and BHEL agreement to develop low cost lithium ion batteries. ISRO and BHEL. India's first lithium cell plant manufacturing facility will be launched in Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh. India's first lithium cell plant manufacturing facility will be launched in Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh. Lithium triangle nations. India is focusing on lithium triangle nations Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile for joint. Fuel cell. India's first indigenously developed hydrogen fuel cell bus jointly developed by Council of Scientific and Industrial Research CSIR and private firm KPIT Technologies Limited was launched recently. About fuel cell: electrochemical devices to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. Fuel cells do not need to be periodically recharged like batteries, but instead continue to produce electricity as long as it is supplied with a source of hydrogen and a source of oxygen, usually air. Source of hydrogen is generally referred as the fuel, and this gives the fuel cell its name. Application: transport, portable, military applications, auxiliary power units, laptops, etc. Stationary, power to industrial or commercial resident buildings, etc. Benefits: lower operational cost due to higher efficiency and high energy density of hydrogen, noise free operating times, and much longer. Challenges: transportation, flammability and storage of hydrogen gas, high cost, technological challenges like system size, management of air, heat and water, etc. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Autonomous body established in 1942 under Ministry of Science and Technology, and is known for its cutting edge R&D, research and development knowledge base in diverse and S&T areas. Areas covered: oceanography, geophysics, chemicals, drugs, genomics, aeronautics, biotechnology, nanotechnology, instrumentation, environmental engineering, information technology. President of CSIR, Prime Minister. Mission: technology innovation and translational research to align with national goals. Creation of scalable and sustainable green technologies in the energy sector. Ensuring sustainable agriculture and nutritional security through biotechnological research. Lithium ion battery, lithium reserve. Okay. Lithium ion battery. Lithium, as you can see in the table above, has the highest electrochemical potential, 3.04 V. It wants to lose electrons readily, which makes it very reactive. That's why you don't get lithium in free form. However, when mixed with metal oxide, lithium sits very stably. Thus, we use the stability of lithium to be very unstable by itself becoming very stable in metal oxide. We can derive electricity. This is what happens in a lithium ion battery. Advantage of lithium ion batteries: lightweight, lithium being lightest material. Disadvantages: faster discharge. While quick discharge is an advantage in electric vehicle and consumer electronic applications, it is not suitable to store energy for longer than 4 hours. Thus, it is not suitable for grid level storage, which is necessary for renewable energy like solar, and suffer from intermittency problem. Aging. Lithium ion batteries suffer from aging at room temperature. Therefore, in a consumer electronic batteries need to be partially charged for longer life. Lithium ion batteries are around 40% more costly to manufacture than nickel cadmium cells owing to high cost of lithium refining, cobalt and nickel. Advantage of lithium ion batteries: lightweight, lithium being lightest metal. Minimum losses: a lithium ion battery pack loses only about 5% of its charge per month, compared to a 20% loss per month for nickel cadmium batteries. Low maintenance: lithium ion batteries can handle hundreds of charge or discharge cycles. High energy density: lithium, having highest electrochemical potential, has very high energy density. A typical automobile lead acid bacteria weighs 6 kilograms more to store the same amount of energy than a lithium ion battery. In consumer electronics like mobile, laptops, camera, etc., kilogram of nickel cadmium battery stores typically 60 to 70 watt hours. A typical lithium battery can store 150 watt hours of electricity in 1 kilogram of battery. Kabil, a PSU to ensure a consistent supply of critical and strategic minerals to Indian domestic market. It would carry out identification, acquisition, exploration, development and mining process of strategic minerals overseas. India has also signed a critical mineral investment partnership with Australia, primarily for supply of lithium and cobalt. Lithium reserves in India. The ancient igneous rocks deposits in the Karnataka's Mandya district hold the first traces of lithium ever to be discovered in India, but it is merely 1600 tons. But in a big development, recently 5 million tons of lithium reserves found for the first time in Jammu and Kashmir. India currently imports all of its lithium batteries.